Former burglars of Reddit. Where is one place people should never hide valuables? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. This doesn't exactly answer the question asked, but it is a tip on potentially protecting your valuables. Bear with me because it's a bit strange. Glue a spare key, not one that opens something important, under your doormat. Weird, right? A few years ago I did this in addition to installing cameras. Over the last couple of years I've seen this exact scenario play out. Thief walks to the door, checks under the mat, unsuccessfully tries to grab the key, backs up, looks around to see if anyone is watching, presumably because they think they have fallen for some trap/prank where they are being surveilled, and leaves. They don't even search for another way in because it spooks them. For the college kids that might read this, don't keep your textbooks in your car. On the day of my finals I had about 6 textbooks I was gonna sell after my finals. I left the books in my car while I took my tests. Came back to find someone broke my window out to steal the textbooks. Cop told me that it's very common and unlikely they will catch the guy, so I was out $700, which was huge as a college student. Had my house burglarized by a so-called friend. He missed by far the most valuable thing. It's just a safe sitting on the laundry room floor. He missed it because I'm a scumbag and had it covered with a mountain of dirty clothes and towels, so not being tidy saved me upwards of $35K. I've seen people make false outlets for hiding valuables like cash and jewelry. Just an idea. A burglar would have to be at your home for a long time to start checking outlets. 50% of the people on my street are either retired or work from home or have a stay-home spouse. Always an old lady watching through her curtains. It's my safest home ever. Someone will be in for a surprise if they open the safe I keep in my nightstand. It's full of my kids' baby teeth. Also, side note, I used to do door-to-door sales for ADT. People would let me in the house and just tell me where all the important stuff was before even verifying I was legit. Don't do that. I hide my vegetables in the meat drawer of my refrigerator. I'm going to keep a small safe in the living room with a giant foam middle finger inside for when the day comes. I had a Malamute dog years ago, had another 2 later, but this was a particularly fluffy one. A friend had heard that it was possible to spin their fur, so I saved enough to knit several jumpers. Anyway, a burglar took stuff from our garage and this massive box of fur too. Must have been quite a surprise. We had our apartments burgled. There were 4 apartments in the area. Guy kicked down the door, and apparently was in out pretty quickly. I came home from work. Cop told me, never leave valuables in your nightstand. Might have even said bottom drawer. Sure enough mine were checked. I could tell because my envelopes were moved from where I placed them. Obligatory, never done it, but you'd be surprised at how often people leave their cars unlocked with nice things inside. A lot of people actually leave them unlocked with the keys inside. LOL. It's how the majority of cars are stolen. Eliminating the easy opportunity is the easiest step and will do a lot to keep your valuables safe. LED lighting is cheap these days. If your house is gonna be vacant for a while, consider investing in one of those smart lighting home automation systems where you can set different rooms to turn on and off at different points in the day. Kitchen during dinner time, bedrooms at night, etc. My neighbor did that and it fooled me. I rang his doorbell to ask to borrow a pressure washer wand, with no response. Figured he was with family and wasn't taking any more visitors, but turns out he's been on vacation for the past 4 days. Don't keep spare key near front door, under pot plant, under doormat, top of door frame etc. My cousin lives in a bad neighborhood, so she went to a thrift store, bought an obvious looking jewelry box and a bunch of expensive looking costume jewelry that's actually worthless and put it in the box. She keeps this in a conspicuous place. Then she leaves a few 20s on top. This way if someone breaks in, they will grab this and run, ignoring some of her well-hidden valuables. Your shed. Seriously? Lock your iron shed, even if your house is well locked. If your shed isn't, I likely have access to a plethora of tools I can use to gain access. Don't help the burglar. Lock your shed. A safe. Also, almost all locks are bullshit unless you had a locksmith put in security pins. But the robbers can just take the safe and figure it out later if time is an issue. Don't leave things out that people can see from outside your home or car. If you buy a new TV or computer, break down the box it came in. Don't just leave it by your garbage bin. Lock doors and windows. Keep your handbag closed and closed. If someone wants to break in, they will. Don't keep everything out in the open. And have insurance on anything that is valuable. Not a burglar or former burglar, but never hide keys and lock combinations in a jar near the door or under your welcome mat. Also, if you purchase something big, like a TV or something big, Never leave the box near your home. The burglar would see it and know you have something valuable in there. I know this sounds crazy, but mow your lawn frequently. It'll show that you have been and had enough time to mow your lawn and that someone must be there. It's obvious, but only announce your trips when you're finished so at first nobody knows you're not there. Inside one of those small lock boxes. It's great when you find one because they're simple to open, and if they don't have a wall safe then all of their main valuables and money are usually in it. Jackpot. Not a burglar, but grew up in a high crime area and knew some boys out there hitting licks. Bit off topic, but there were some guys that would ride a bike through busy parking lots searching for women loading up after shopping and leaving their purse unattended in their shopping cart. Ride by and snatch, then have a getaway route that a full-sized vehicle can't follow them through. Obligatory not a burglar, but I did work at bank. Another teller told me about how this woman brought in a flower pot to the girls' teller station. The bank teller was understandably confused when the woman pointed at the flower pot and says, "I need to make a deposit." Turns out, this woman had planted thousands of dollars in her flower pot over the years. The problem, she watered that flower for years with the money planted in the soil. Not only that, but she wrapped every bill in duct tape to keep the water from messing up the bills. The teller had to dig into the pot and help this woman unwrap money from duct tape. The teller said the worst part was the bills were soggy and moldy when they unwrapped them, so most of them were torn, or the ink was faded beyond readability, so the woman lost money. Don't put your money in flower pots or wrap it in duct tape. I heard a lot of people hide stuff in the air vents. Is it searched usually? Also, my mum used to hide what little valuables we had in a small space behind our washing machine, a really heavy one. Except if you knew it was there you couldn't know there was a space here, and that it was accessible. She had to spend 10-15 minutes hiding stuff because it was really hard to access. So I guess that burglars wanting to do their thing as quickly as possible wouldn't spend time looking there. Any safe that's not bolted down and is small enough for 1-2 people to carry isn't safe at all. Also, my ex's grandfather had a safe stolen from his home that was bolted down. The thieves wrapped a chain around it and ran it out the window to a truck, took the safe straight through the wall. All they had to do was follow the drag marks though, but still. LOL, my dad and 2 uncles were once looking after my house for my grandma. They were about 11, 17 and 18, when they heard someone knocking about the garage, so my dad and uncle, 18 and 17, went out and found a burglar, and threatened to beat him up if he didn't leave the property. He had his ladder next to the garage to try and get in from the top. I don't know what he was doing that for, and as he left he asked if he could at least take his ladder with him. To this day my dad still has that ladder, face with tears of joy. Face with tears of joy. Not a burglar, but our home has been broken into. We only had the 1 bedroom at the time, but the places that the burglar looked into were the closet. Everything was thrown out. Desk drawers, found a bit of cash and our passports were taken. The entry furniture, drawers, under the bed/bedside tables. At least now I know where not to hide valuables. Not that I have any. My mother has a closet filled with food supplies, boxes of bags of spices and such. There's at least 3 dozen such boxes at all times in said closet. One of them, and she replaces it regularly so the expiration date remains relevant. She opens up carefully, fills with valuables, and then carefully closes back up. She had me try to find which one of the boxes it was. I genuinely couldn't tell from sight alone, only the slightly different heft tipped me off after 10 minutes. No burglar will ever find that stash. Pro tip, hide your small valuables inside a used/empty fire extinguisher. No one is going to steal a fire extinguisher. We had a huge safe that takes 2-3 people to move. They broke into my house and flipped everything all over searching. But when they found the safe they left everything else and focused on taking that. I even had iPads and Rolex watches lying around in open. Point is, we kept the safe empty. We'd only keep a few fake pieces of jewelry in case there was ever a home invasion we could offer them something to take. This will get buried, but here we go. Not a burglar, but some broke into my family's house 4 or 5 years ago when we were out on a concert. They checked everything, took all money and jewelry they could find. Except, my room was a mess to begin with. I left piles of clothes on the floor. My study desk messy AF. Left piles of papers on both desk and floor. I was in a hurry before we all left and was searching for something I can quite remember now. I had 800 euros and golden earrings on my desk, just sitting there. The burglars opened the doors and didn't move a thing. Left my 800 euros and golden earrings alone and moved to another room. From then on I have been using this as an excuse why I don't need to clean up my room. On your social media page. No really, don't post photos of expensive stuff you just bought on Facebook. You might think it's cool to show it off, but to a would-be thief, it just becomes a shopping list. Not a burglar, but learned this from my sister, who would steal stuff from our mom while cleaning. If it's in a place they can find it just by cleaning, the maid-style burglar will find it under the bed or a pillow, underneath the bag, in the trash can, in the worst because even if it's discovered missing, fire is possible deniability. Also, for the old and not tech-savvy people, do not hide money in the freaking optical drive, aka where you put the CDs and DVDs on your computer. I don't know why my grandma thought that was a good hiding spot. Had my home burgled twice. Best place to hide jewelry is in the bottom hem of your curtains. Taking off a valuable ring before you shower but don't want to go all the way to your jewelry box hidey hole. Tuck them in the curtain hem. It's not a long-term solution, but getting into the habit of keeping your good shit out of plain sight will save you on the day someone breaks in. It is so easy to leave earrings/rings/bracelets laying around. Fake rocks are a dead giveaway. Sock drawer is a cliche. If you have a small safe that's not bolted down, we are taking that thing. We all have a safe, guy. Our goal is to get in and out pretty quickly. If you hide something in a random box all the way up in your attic, it's probably safe. Whatever you do, please don't leave your damn kid at home. Not really a burglar, but if you're shoplifting, under the shirt or in front of your nuts, nowhere else. Not really hide, but don't leave stuff in your car. When I was in high school, we did our fair share of car hopping. Not a burglar, but I have experience since my mother used to hide my doll whenever I was bad and I'd always find it. Mothers of Reddit, never hide your child's stuff in cabinets/high places, even at 6 years old. I used to climb that bitch. To directly answer your question, I'm going to look under your bed. I'm going to dump out any drawer I find. I'm checking your freezer. I'm looking under the bathroom cabinet. Think that incredibly smart hiding spot you saw in a spy movie will work. We watch spy movies too. Is really going to be a matter of security versus convenience for you. If it takes me more than a minute to get to something, and don't forget I'm more than willing to break shit to get to stuff, then it's not worth my trouble. I want to be out of your house in less than 15 minutes tops. A woman tried to take my cat from the street. She picked her up and tries to walk away, but Kitty went bananas on her. Bet she won't be trying that again. Special care should be made sure to not keep valuables in places like safe deposit boxes or banks. Burglars know that's where valuable items are kept, so that is obviously the first place they would look. Instead, you should keep everything you value right out in the open behind unlocked doors and windows. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.